Consistency has never been a problem for anybody. Whether you like it or not, your actions are always consistent with your internal state. You, myself, and everybody else, nobody has any issues with consistency. They're just consistent with the wrong things. So here is how I overcame this. There are 3 parts to this, so make sure to watch until the end of the video so you can get a full understanding of how I do this. So the first part is your identity. And listen, a lot of people, they say I want to be consistent, or they say I struggle with consistency, blah, blah, blah. But have you ever asked, like, who am I trying to become? What's that identity like? Who's that person? Like, decide the who. Like, you don't even know who are you trying to become, and you're just trying to be consistent with something. And that's the issue with a lot of people, because their identity part still hasn't been, upgraded or updated based on their dream person that they want to be, or their alter ego. You know what I'm saying? So let's just say, I always bring this example. I was trying to go to the gym many years ago, but then initially my mind was that I am that fit person. Physically, I was fat. But I was like, I am that fat person, so I was like, let me just update my identity. And when I changed my identity, the habits just came naturally. There was no struggle, it was just so smooth, because you ask yourself, okay, what would a fit person do? Okay, he would go to the gym, he would eat this, he would eat that. It makes sense, like, it's normal, right? But whenever your identity part is not updated, there is always a resistance, there's always a barrier. Why would a fat video gamer try to go to the gym? Why would a fat video gamer try to eat healthy? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would a person who just eats in his room, eat Doritos and eat cakes and stuff, go to the gym? Like, it doesn't make sense, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of need to update your identity first, because if you don't do it, it's just going to be a sense of resistance. And when there is resistance, you're like, I don't really want to do this. Why do you think you see, a lot of people say they struggle with consistency. Why do you think they don't struggle with consistency when they're eating junk food? When they're consistent with not going to the gym? They're being consistent. That's the thing. They're being consistent. It's just their identity hasn't been updated. They don't see themselves. Their self-image is not that person. So how do you do that? Number 1, you need to understand, pick and choose, what are you trying to become? Are you trying to be, an artist? Are you trying to be an athlete? Are you trying to be something else? Whatever you want to be. Put yourself there and see, okay, what would that person do? What would this person's habits be? And when you do that, everything else that you're going to be doing, it's just going to be easy, because you're like, it's me. Like, yeah, physically I'm still not there, I'm growing, or I'm, learning this skill and blah, 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 all these type of things. But you're just putting yourself there, and you're just doing whatever that person is going to be doing, the dream version of you, okay? And when you do that, when your identity is updated, the actions is just effortless. Like, it's going to be so easy. That's why, a lot of things I need to work on, right? But consistency is something that I never struggled with. And again, as I said before, nobody struggles with it. It's just, you need to be consistent with the right things. And whenever you change your identity, it just comes naturally, because you already know what to do, because that's your new updated self-image. You get this? Okay, so this is part 1. Number 2, this is very, very important. The intention behind your consistency. Do you even know why you are trying to be consistent? We covered the who, but why are you trying to be consistent? The why. Like, a lot of people say, I want to meditate. I want to go to the gym. I want to read. I want to journal. Okay, good. But do you know why? Just because someone else told you doesn't mean you should be consistent with it. Ask yourself, because a lot of the times we do certain things, it may not necessarily be applicable for us. It may not be the best thing for us. It may not be even, compatible with our maybe personality type. Maybe it might not be compatible with our, talents and the things that we're doing and how we do things, and maybe our location, our culture. There's so many aspects that you need to ask yourself, is this the right thing for me? And you also need to pick the intention, okay? So why am I doing this? Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because if you don't know why you're doing it, then what's the point, right? I used to do this. I used to meditate, journal, but I'm like, why am I doing this? And I was like, oh, someone else told me you're gonna get these benefits, right? But as I said in the part 1, is that your identity wasn't shifted. When your identity is not shifted, the intention is not gonna be there. So you need to do all these things in order, part 1, part 2, and part 3 when we touch it. But again, get your identity on point and get your intention. So ask yourself, why am I doing this? What's the goal? Am I trying to get jacked? Am I trying to get lean? Am I trying to be an artist? You need to know all these things, and you need to also understand what kind of benefits are you trying to receive from these habits, right? So I put some notes here. It's are the benefits clear? Do you know why you're doing it? And also the intention. So these are the main things about this part, the intention, and also what things are you trying to get out of it, right? Because you may go to swimming, okay, but you just doing it for like sake of it because someone else told you, but you don't even know what's it for you, what are you going to get out of it, because a lot of times you just do things because some people, Iman Gadzi or Andrew Tate tell you or something, and you just do it and like, oh, it's going to work, but you don't even know why. Maybe ask yourself, okay, why am I doing this? So your mind is clear on that and you're aiming somewhere, because if you're just shooting everywhere, you have nowhere to like aim, you know what I'm saying? So like you need to know why you're doing it, and then everything is just going to be effortless, right? So again, the first two parts we covered is that the first part was the identity, so who are you trying to become? And two, it's your intention, which is, again, why are you doing this? What are you trying to get out of this, right? So these are the two main components of consistency and how I never struggled with it. And the last part, this is the third one, which is super important. Again, this is important. Take notes. I don't want you just to watch this video and just do nothing with it, right? I hate the type of people that watch this type of videos, like educational videos, and they don't take action. Like they just, they watch it. Like, bro, if you're going to get information out of it, apply. Like genuinely apply. Like that's how you're going to be able to improve. And I always like this type of videos, like, like 30-minute, 40-minute videos, or like these raw, authentic videos that is just there to give you plainly like top quality information. These videos I love because it just gets to the point and you learn something, right? I don't want to just sit and like, just watch something for entertainment. Again, entertainment is cool, but like if you're watching videos like this, like, bro, you're trying to get something, you're trying to learn something. So like apply. Why are you even watching this? This is not even like that fun. You're just trying to learn something. So at least put it to work, you know what I mean? But back to the last part that we moved to it. Again, part one, identity. Part two is your intention. And part three, the law of accumulation. Okay, now you say, what is that? What is law of accumulation, right? So keep that in mind. Law of accumulation pretty much means that everything you do counts. So again, whenever you're doing something, imagine there are two jars. Let's just say the positive actions help you towards your goals and the negative actions don't, right? So whenever you do a positive action, it just accumulates over time. That's the law of accumulation. So everything you do counts. Okay, remember that. So now some of the notes that I put in is that before we get to part three, the law of accumulation, make sure that you apply part A and part B, which is your identity and also your intention, right? Because if you don't do it, then this is pretty much pointless, right? Now, the law of accumulation is important to also take note of this because a lot of people get this wrong. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? Just because you're being consistent with something, just because you're doing something constantly all the time, doesn't mean it's going to get you the results that you want. Why? Again, if your intention isn't on the right spot, if your identity is in the right spot and you don't even know why you're doing this, then you're not going to get the result that you want, right? So make sure you get those things on point, because if you do the same thing all the time and you don't even know why you're doing it and you're doing it wrong, you don't even know how to do certain things like training or maybe reading, learning a certain skill, all these things. If you don't know how and why you're trying to do it and also who are you trying to become, then it's pointless, right? So you're just stacking good actions for the sake of it, just for your ego. But it has no benefit, okay? So get the other parts to correctly, So this is how I mastered consistency. Your positive intentional actions all build up, and when you combine that with the right identity and intention, it just happens. You're just consistent with no issues, and you're that person. And whenever your identity is shifted, when your intention is set, there is no struggle. You're like, I am a fit person. The intention is to get fit. The intention is to get healthy. It obviously makes sense to be consistent with training. Makes sense to be consistent with my diet. It genuinely makes sense. It's so easy to understand and there is no resistance. When you update those things, it just becomes effortless. Why do you think famous athletes like LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo, all these guys are constantly on their, they're doing their things right, they're eating the right things, training the right way. For a lot of people, it's hard work, but for them, it's easy because they updated their identity and self-image, and it's like, that's me. Whenever you combine all these things, it's just who you are. Like, you don't even see it as hard work, and you don't see it as discipline because it's part of you. You already know what to do, and it's set in you. Like, for external people, they may like, oh, what is this guy doing, eating crazy stuff, training like crazy, or putting themselves into like some crazy training or educational classes to learn certain skills. People are like, this is weird or this is hard, right? But for that person, it makes sense because they already know who they are. They already know their intention, and they're just trying to accumulate those positive habits. And eventually, they're going to be there in the physical world where everything is just going to come to them. It's just natural state of the, the universe. Everything is just going to happen when you follow these things. And for example, if I didn't keep in my mind that I'm a fit person mentally years ago, I wouldn't be jacked like this, you know what I'm saying? This applies to everything else. And if you just do these three things that I told you, consistency is not going to be an issue at all. So just apply. My name is Arin and I make videos from my experiences, my lessons, the things I've gone through, the things I have learned, and my intention is just to help, and I want you to apply this, because if you don't apply, what's the point, right? But I hope you enjoyed this video. I dropped a lot of sauce for you, so make sure to take notes, okay? And that's it. And I see you in the next video. Boom.